Right now, someone with zero technical experience can build a functioning website or business in under 1 hour.
No developers, no coding classes, no 5-year learning curve.
That changes the barriers to entry in business completely.
So today, we're not asking whether AI can build things. It can.
You know that?
The real question is, what should you be building?
Welcome back to the Marketing Podcast for Local Businesses, the show that gives you practical, proven marketing advice to help you grow your business right here in the UK. I'm Adam, best-selling author on Amazon, AI enthusiast and founder of www.websitedesigners.London. We've helped businesses generate tens of millions online through smarter design and marketing.
My name's Josh. I'm the founder of ImproveMySearchRanking.com, a specialist SEO agency based in South London. We've worked with well over 400 businesses, helping them generate in excess of £200 million.
I am super excited for this particular episode, genuinely, because this sort of stuff excites me. And we were WhatsApping about this earlier today, come up with a few ideas, some similar, some new, really exciting. So just to recap, we're going to be sharing a fair few business ideas, 7 to be precise, that you could essentially launch using these AI website generators.
So which website generators are we talking about? I guess we should probably outline that or refer people to the previous episode.
Reliable and Replit. You're a Replit fan, I'm a T-Lovable fan. Mr. Lovable. I don't know why. That was an intrusive thought. Okay, so let's discuss this. So would you say that this is the biggest barrier removal in business history?
Potentially, yes. We've of course had many revolutions over the last few hundred years, few thousand years, from becoming from hunter-gatherers to farmers. There's a lot of effort, a lot of work involved. Now, anybody with an internet connection and access to one of these websites can start a business less than an hour.
Yeah. Oh, go on, you consistent.
No, it's just incredible. The barrier to entry, I think is that one of Porter's 5 forces?
Yeah.
Is gone down to zero in so many industries. I suppose mainly anything like software as a service, any kind of web type of business, the barrier to entry is now super low.
Completely agree with you. I genuinely say, I've said this probably so many times, AI, artificial intelligence, will create a generational shift, will be a historical moment for mankind. I genuinely believe this. I get often asked, sometimes it's what skeptics say, oh, AI, or what's so good about AI, or this is only relevant for technical people. No, genuinely no. The born of ChatGPT, consumers are using it, don't really know how to use tech properly. Like, sorry, mum. My mum, for example, she now uses it daily. How do I make a recipe? Like, it takes her 20 hours.
That's right.
But now she speaks to it. But look, the shift here is the likes of Replit and Lovable, and I think there's one called Bolt. Are they becoming the biggest barriers removal in business history? I would agree with you. I'd say not only the ability to create these websites, but I've not discovered this yet, but perhaps apps as well. I'm not talking about website apps, I'm talking about mobile applications.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if they can do that yet, but before, wanting to create an app would cost you thousands. Wanting to create you a technical website like the ones I certainly built. I mean, yes, it's a business directory. Yes, it's a blog. However, the amount of detail on the business directory paid listings is incredible. I think it's one of the historical kind of things that have happened in for the past decade, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only for business. I mean, we won't touch on it now, but with AI, it's going to touch every part of humanity. So maybe, it's going to optimize healthcare. It's going to optimize every single facet of the economy, and potentially the whole globe is going to transform in the next few years because of these big changes. So another question to ponder, I suppose, is coding now becoming leverage rather than skill?
I think coding is less important now. We talked about in the previous episodes a few issues that we were facing regarding how discoverable from a search engine perspective and AI perspective our websites are when we use Replit and Lovable to build them. That said, so the argument there is you need to understand that they're built using JavaScript and maybe it's not as easily discoverable as a website built using WordPress would be, and therefore you need those technical coding skills or some technical skills. But that said, I would say uh, there is definitely a lesser demand for, or lesser need for a coder, or if a coder typically spent 50% of the time building websites and 50% of the time doing some technical stuff, I think the building of the website, the 50% of the time, will probably drop down to maybe 10%.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think as it stands, to build the most optimal and effective website, you probably still do need to have some sort of coding
Agree.
and engineering type skills. So it's becoming a code is made less important, but as it stands as of now, I think you still need to have some technical skills or some ability to understand. You need to check things. As we spoke about in previous episodes, if you use an AI tool to make you a website, it may look fantastic, but did you consider all the things you need to consider to ensure it works properly from an SEO standpoint, from a contact form point of view, the SMPT settings, the DNS settings, all this kind of stuff. So yes, certainly coding is becoming more or less important to some degree and easily accessible to anybody with an internet connection.
Totally agree. Next question we want to talk about is, what would 2005 developers think of this? As in, developers back into the year 2005, what they think of this?
Back in 2005, I was 15, I think, 15, 16. I probably just received for Christmas my HTML for beginners that year, and I started actually building websites back then. And I really enjoyed actually doing the coding. It's kind of fun. You write some code, it makes a web page, change the colors and the fonts, and that was pretty fun. Obviously, I wasn't a hardcore developer, as there were many back then. But I assume, as I was a few weeks ago when I first used Replit, they would be absolutely astounded by these tools, and they would be concerned maybe that they're going to lose their job. But it's incredible. So you have to go with the times and use the tools that are available.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about if you could go back in time to 2005, I'm not sure if Bitcoin prices would track back then, but it's like you know, I wish I'd known the lottery numbers, or I wish I'd known X, Y, Z. But what would developers think about tools like this? I think they'd probably think this is a life-changing thing. And what is this AI? AI is uh, this could change a game. Why am I going to be out of a job? Do I need a job? Do I need to know how to be more technical to help people fix their issues that they might have using these tools?
In the short term, I think in the next few years, developers might be required more than ever because of it's not completely perfect as it stands. These tools to create businesses and websites and apps, you still do need somebody with some sort of technical experience to be able to project manage it or check and make sure everything's working. So I suppose if the developers in 2005 saw this, they would be concerned, but also maybe employed and paid more for the next few years until their jobs get taken.
Yeah, by robots.
Yeah.
Look, to make the point here, AI tools, they absolutely remove some sort of technical barrier for sure. So that's something to consider.
Cool. Yeah, so they're a really technical barrier, but what they don't do is they don't give you great ideas to build businesses with. So this is where
But do you know who does? We do.
that's true. That's why we're here today. We've got at least 7 cool ideas, I think, that you may want to start yourself. So first is creating a hyper local directory of some sort. So for example, this could be, you know, the best of X directory. So best of plumbers in the UK directory. It could be super locals, the best plumber in South London directory, super hyper local or super hyper specific to a sector. And this type of website, there's obviously a lot of businesses who'd want to appear on these directories, and there's various ways you can monetize this. And yeah, I'll hand over to you, Adam. You've had a bit of experience doing this yourself.
Yeah. Um, Again, I think the directory, you need to think about what's already out there as well. Is there are there ones out there? For example, the one I built, I know there's a competitor out there. But I'm just going to come out and say it's definitely nowhere as detailed and nowhere as good as the one I built, of course. Nah, on a serious note, look at what's already out there in terms of the internet. Is there a niche? Is there a gap there? The likelihood is you're not going to have a best, best cafe in, and then insert village name. So if we go down, that granularly, there probably is not going to be any some sort of dedicated directory. There'll be a more general directory. There'll be ChatGPT recommended answers, a Google recommended answer. But you've also got to think about if it is hyper local and hyper specific, how many cafes are there going to be in insert village name? How are you going to monetize that? Is it just for traffic and then you can use that for something else? Adverts maybe, but uh, I guess the question is, what are we seeking to? How are you going to monetize it?
So as we're speaking, we're in a town called Beckenham in southeast London, which is in the borough of Bromley. In Beckenham, I know there's over 40 cafes on the high street, which is maybe a fairly large amount compared to most high streets.
Yeah.
This high street, it has a lot of restaurants, has a lot of cafes. It could be an ideal place to create this kind of, best cafes in Beckenham.co.uk and monetize that in several ways, as you kind of mentioned. So you could have featured listings, you could have ads on there, you could have sponsorships, and you could generate traffic from all sorts of different ways through local Facebook groups, through Instagram, through ads, through SEO, and of course, appearing in AI searches as well. So as a business, this episode is all about businesses you can start super quickly. You could create the best cafes in Beckenham.co.uk in 60 minutes. There's only 40 or so businesses to add. It's not going to take you long to do that. You can use APIs to kind of bring in the reviews and to bring in the directions and the maps, and you could create something that's unique and doesn't exist in your town as of yet. And another way to monetize it may be you could, well, I kind of mentioned already where there's featured listings, but you could list certain businesses at the top only if they pay you $100 a month or whatever it may be.
Fantastic. Let's move on. Let's get anything else to say there. Okay, idea number two, you could build a niche comparison website. So, for example, best CRM, customer relationship management tool for estate agents, or best booking software for salons, or compare commercial cleaning services. Again, a great idea whereby you're honing in on a niche and you're comparing different services. So if we think of those huge comparison sites like monetysupermarket.com or Go Compare, that big, huge man thing, Go Compare, I always think about that, or comparethemarket.com, you've got USwitch for utilities. I mean, I use these regularly because it's a great way of finding the best product out there. So That's powerful.
Another one would be bark.com, I think it is, or .co.uk,
Yeah.
where they kind of do this to some degree, but they focus on all services, web designers to gardeners. What the idea here is to make something that's super niche, so you own that niche. This is like a key marketing strategy, is to kind of own a market. So if you pick out a niche where there's not already a website dominating, then that's the opportunity here, is to create a website for a niche.
Absolutely. And the monetization here, again, how all these comparison websites that I mentioned make money is they get a kickback or a commission essentially from whoever you buy your car insurance from. That's, commission or affiliate marketing. You also get sponsored listings as well, so they'll pay you extra to feature there. It's huge in terms of financial incentives, especially in the financial services market. So,
Yeah. Cool. All right. So next up, we have turning your current day job or skills that you have into a course/platform. So, you may be, for example, I might have a lot of experience in doing SEO for carpet cleaners. So I've worked with quite a few carpet cleaners, some very successful ones, and I could very easily create a course on how to do SEO for carpet cleaners with AI. So I can maybe copy and paste some of my processes and systems I have already, put this into ChatGPT, generate a course, go to Lovable, go to Replit, generate a prompt in ChatGPT, copy that, paste it into Replit, press enter, and then 60 seconds later have a whole course, which I then probably need to edit, adjust a bit more, but within an hour could very easily create a course that is got tests, it's got revision cards, all the kind of stuff you need, and I could then sell access to it.
Happy days. Yeah, I mean, if someone, if any one of our listeners has had a job for more than 5 years or 10 years or whatever, worked for decades in a particular industry, you're going to be a subject matter expert. So why don't you use that to create a course? And you could use that for by building a website, again, by just, and when we talk about these tools, Lovable, if you haven't listened to our previous episode, it's so easy. You just literally type in, build me a website, or even better, you could go to ChatGPT and say, create a prompt that I'm going to input into Lovable or Replit to build a course on, I don't know, tires, car tires. It will give you a prompt in ChatGPT, copy it, and pop it into Lovable Replit. But you could also do that directly in Replit, for example. Brilliant. Next idea, number 4, is you could build an AI-powered lead qualification tool. So, for example, a roof repair estimator, a boiler replacement cost calculator, a wedding budget calculator, topical, an AI rank checker. Oh, that's a great idea. Go to adamexplains.ai because I've already built one.
Yeah, another one might be, I heard someone else speak on the podcast about, was a garden landscaping cost calculator using AI to use Google Maps API, look at the garden, work out how big it is, then generate 5 different ideas on the garden design concepts with a price point, send that automatically to your customer rather than the garden designer having to turn up at someone's house, get the measuring stick out, measure everything, and then manually design 5 different styles. You can just use AI to generate this instantaneously.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So, and calculators convert so well. We still have a SEO rank checker or SEO audit tool on websitedesigners.london. That works really well. I used to have to pay a third party for that. Like it wasn't cheap. It was like 125 quid a month. I could build it one myself. So it's a little side hustle there. Let's move on to number 6.
Number 6 or number 5? Number 5,
Number 5. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here.
Next one is We're building a software as a service, also known as a SaaS, for a super specific niche. So this is somewhat similar, I suppose, to point 1 and 2, but what you could do here is make some software for a specific target market. So, for example, a booking system specifically for dog grooming companies, or a inventory tracker just for independent cafes, a quote calculator like we just spoke about just for plumbers. So making some software and packaging it, and making it target a super niche market.
Perfect. So number 6, local data site. So think about creating something like house prices in London or in Beckenham, school comparison tool, crime stats per town dashboard. Again, local data content ranks really well because people use it for when they want to move home, when they're doing research, typically on that. Maybe you could generate traffic and then monetize via estate agents and local businesses. You never know, you might build a tool one day that gets bought out by Rightmove or Zoopla.
Yes, good idea. Cool. Next one is cloning and improving upon already successful businesses. So if you just take a look out there, what are some online businesses that you use every day or are very profitable? Could you simplify it and do it yourself and do it at a much cheaper rate? So if there's a tool out there that you use, maybe you can make a lovable alternative and charge $15 a month for it, and still become a $6 billion company in 2 years.
Not bad, eh? Fantastic idea. So look, let's round this off here. Just because you can build something, should you build it? Well, it depends. I'm a creative person. Josh, I know you're a creative person. For me, I learn a lot. I think it's a hobby to just learn how to do things, learn about these tools. But ultimately, we've both created websites that are hugely beneficial to people. I've received launching a website on Lovable that I launched less than 7 days ago from today. I've received about a total of 20 odd comments on social media and messages to say, Adam, what you've built is so useful. I'm going to tell a friend about it. That's powerful. That's powerful. So North Cyprus guide.com. It's basically go check it out yourself. I would have talked about it in a previous episode. But it's if you can find a use for a website, then I think yes, go build it.
I think now is a really good time to just test, just have a go at doing it. You've got nothing to lose. It's $20.
Yeah,
it's not much. With the growth of AI and what's going to happen in the next few years, it's a great idea to get familiar with all these tools. Some people predict that jobs might not exist in 10, 20 years' time.
Yep.
And the only jobs that might exist are the ones for entrepreneurs who are building and testing and making things in the world. So this is an easy way to practice. So I'd recommend everybody goes and downloads one of these, pays one of these tools, and gets started.
Absolutely. To your point about AI, I'm a huge enthusiast. There are huge entrepreneurs, billion-dollar entrepreneurs who are heavily involved in the AI industry who outwardly said, in a few decades, we're probably going to have some sort of universal basic income where we pay people a certain amount paid by the government because there won't be jobs out there for them. So those who kind of understand and AI and know how to use it will be the ones in the job, I'd say.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. So a question for you to ponder, or for us to ponder as well, perhaps, is if you lost everything, had to start again, just with AI tools and internet access, what would you build?
That's a great question. I love that. So, is that for us to discuss now, or do you want
to? It's for the audience, but we can also discuss it if you've got any thoughts on
that. Let's leave it for another discussion. I think we've discussed enough. But guys, let us know in the comments what you think. What would you create? So, thank you very much for listening. Please do leave us a 5-star review and follow us. Any closing remarks?
Just go out there, start using these tools.
Thanks, guys.